Osi Umenyiora, two-time Super Bowl winner. Oh yeah, one of the main men behind the International Player Pathway in NFL Africa, and a star of a Super Bowl commercial. Osi, welcome to the show. How's that? That's pretty cool, right?
So crazy, so crazy. Just thinking that so many people are going to be able to see all the work that we've been able to do and all the work that we put in, and the fact that the NFL backed it the way they did and are promoting it the way they've done. It really is a fantastic moment for us, and we're really excited about it.
From your perspective as well, like I know this isn't the headline news. The fact they're backing it and everything else is wonderful. One of those 30-second slots costs $7 million. Like, that just shows you how much they're willing to back it, right?
Yeah, one of those 30-second slots costs $7 million, and we got 2 minutes.
That's
so
incredible.
Do the math.
That is incredible.
Yeah, they put a lot behind it, and we actually went out to Africa. We shot it in Africa. We had some of the biggest players on the planet in Africa, in the middle of a market. It was superb.
Now, unfortunately, because we're doing this a little bit in the past, I haven't seen the full advert yet. I've just seen the teaser. I've just seen a little flavour. Yeah. Tell people like who came out and how they engaged with this whole process.
Yeah, so Justin Jefferson was there, the best receiver in football. Saquon Barkley was there also. We had Cam Jordan. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who's a great football player for the Browns also, he was in there. So we had some premium players, and everything that they were asked to do, they did. They were so happy to be there, to be in Africa and to be around where they come from, really. It really was a fantastic situation.
And from your perspective, like obviously it's a wonderful thing to be able to go and see the work in action, but you're there regularly. What was it like to see those guys come over and get to engage with the great work you're doing?
Oh, really cool. I think they started to trace their heritage. A lot of them actually taking tests to see which part of Africa they come from. Saquon said he's like 50% Nigerian. Justin was really happy to be there. So just seeing them being in that environment and knowing what it means to them and understanding that there's like a groundswell of people who want to engage with Africa. I think it's really special, and we're really happy about it.
We caught up with Jeremiah on the red carpet last night, and he was wearing, I'm sure you saw, this absolutely sensational Ghanaian influence suit. Like, again, another reference to it. We discussed it with him, and again, the pride coming from him was incredible to see.
Yeah, he always looks fantastic, man. One of the most stylish, most best dressed, and I think rightfully so because of the way he represents his culture and himself. So we're really happy about him, excited about the things that he's been able to do, and on top of that, he's a great player, right? It's one thing to be dressed like that and can't play, but if you can dress like that and play the way he plays, I think it draws that much attention to what he's doing and what we're trying to do, and we're really excited about it.
How big is it for the International Player Pathway and what you're doing with NFL Africa as well, that they are expanding this out now, that they are making it all 32 teams rather than doing this division by division that they'd done previously?
Extremely excited about that. I think when you look at the NFL internationally, I think there's great talent all over the world. There's great players all around the world, but we just have never had the opportunity for them to come into the NFL, right? So if you're in New Zealand or Australia or wherever, and you're a fan of the NFL, how would you be able to get into the NFL? So now we've created this pathway. You're going to see an influx of talent from everywhere, and I think that's going to make the NFL that much better.
And look, I think it really helps when the guys that you've got involved, yourself, I also think about from our end, people like FA who we had here yesterday, like the passion from those guys for it and for their heritage and where they come from is so apparent, and it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, you have to have that, and I think it's one thing to give people opportunities. It's another thing for them to run with those opportunities. We've seen what FA's been able to do. We've seen what Jordan Mayata's been able to do. We've also seen what a lot of the kids who came from Nigeria, who all of them got re-signed this year to their respective teams, which means that the coaches really like and understand these players and like what we're doing. So all those things coming together has been fantastic, and it's going to be great for the growth of the NFL.
So with this big launch and this big advert and everything else now, what does the next 6 to 8 months before we get to next season look like for you?
I couldn't even tell you. To be completely honest, I don't know. Everything is growing at such a rapid rate. Who knows? We might be playing a game there in 6 to 8 months the way things are going. I take that back. We're not going to be playing a game in the next 6 to 8 months. But overall, we're just going to have more of the same, more camps, more exposure. A lot of people still don't know what we're doing. You're close to it, so you know what's been going on. But there are a lot of people who don't know. So when they see this commercial, it's going to be their first time actually understanding the scope of what we've been doing over there. And I think they're going to really enjoy it.
I love that. And look, from our perspective, you joked about it, but we had Spain announced for 2025 today. We talked with Brett Gosper from the league earlier about like having that lead time on it. we can't be that far off seeing a game on the African continent at least some point in the not too distant.
I agree with you. I don't think we're that far off, man. We just have to get some infrastructure in place there that can be able to handle that. It's one thing to conceptualize it, and I think the NFL would want to play a game there, but we have to have the things in place for it to be successful.
I want to ask you one about a good friend of yours, Adam Dirty, who's just been announced today, or kind of not announced yet, but reported that he's going to be the new coordinator of the Seahawks. To think that he was coaching the Warriors 10, 11 years ago, what an incredible rise for him.
It's part of our story. It's part of the story of the NFL International and the things that are possible. He's a fantastic person, a fantastic coach. You know, first time I saw him coaching, we went out to coach a rugby guy. This was maybe 8, 9 years ago, and I was like, Adam, you can coach in the NFL. He was like, really? I was like, yes, you can coach in the NFL, because you can see it. He has such passion, you know, so he's such an incredible teacher and so knowledgeable about the game. So you knew that if anybody gave him the opportunity and the amount of hard work that he does, he was going to run with it. And right now you see the culmination of everything that he's done. I don't think this is the end for him either.
They got an exciting young defense there with some guys who can fly around as well. It was really interesting. We saw Devin Witherspoon on the red carpet catching up with Carl Hamilton and picking his brain about Mike McDonald and the scheme in Baltimore. So like, just that alone says to me that those young guys are desperate to learn and desperate to be coached, and I love that Adam's going to be there doing it.
I can't wait to watch him. I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan now for sure. Hopefully they'll be able to get over that hump and do some great things.
They're in the 49ers division. It makes it less likely for me to hate them. That's all I'll say.
Right?
I'm not going to say I'm a fan yet. I'm not quite getting to that level at all. And look, obviously you've played in a few of these before. If you're a player at this point of the weekend and you're getting just to 2 days out and everything's installed and you've done your walkthroughs and everything, how do you think these guys are handling things right now, and what's the mindset of a player at this point of the weekend?
Well, when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, they've been there, right? So they know exactly how to handle themselves. They've won this game a couple of times now, and the leadership is still intact. I think San Francisco was here 4 years ago, probably have some new players, but at this point in time, you don't want to be thinking about Vegas. You don't want to be thinking about partying. You don't want to be thinking about anything related to partying. The only thing you want to be thinking about is the game at hand. And you don't want to be nervous. You want to understand, yes, it is the Super Bowl, but this is a game. Get those jitters out, focus in, tunnel vision, and be prepared for the biggest game of your life.
Do you know what's amazing? We've heard all the Mahomes and Brady stuff all of this week. I think the person who's done the most succinct and excellent analysis of that was Thierry Henry today. And maybe it is that greatness means that you understand greatness. But he just turned and said, Mahomes will be angry that Brady beat him in the Super Bowl. And the only way to now beat him is to get more rings than him. That's why he'll win. And I was like, oh, yeah. That's good.
That makes
I'm
sense.
going to repeat that a lot this weekend.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Osi, it's always a real pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with us.
Will.
Really excited to see the advert when I finally get to see it, and the people at home already will have done. And really excited to see where it goes from here, man.
You're going to love it.
Brilliant.